All right, GCSE legends. Now, if indices make you feel negatively about maths, today we're going to turn that around. Because negative and fractional indices are basically just two rules, two wearing different outfits. And once you get them, you'll start spotting free marks like it's Pokemon. I'm Talk GCSE, and let's make indices make sense. Now, let's talk about what they actually are. A negative indices or index doesn't mean make the number negative. It just means reciprocal. Fancy word for flip it into a fraction. So the rule is a to the power of negative m equals to 1 over a to the power of negative m. Now let me just show it to you. Can we see here? So we can see our first example, hopefully. Now in our first example, we can see that we've got a to the power of negative m. In order to make that power positive, we flip it upside down. We make it a reciprocal. So a over 1 over a with the power of m. So negative power, honestly, just flip it. And, you know, they're just divisions in disguise. They're not bad. They're just having a down day, technically. Now, let's have a look at example number 2. We've got 2 to the power of minus 3. Negative means flip. That means 1 over 2 cubed, because the power has now become positive. The flip allows you to make the power positive, so just remember that. So the answer is 1 over 8. So remember, the negative sign pushes the base into the denominator. You're allowed upstairs. You're not allowed upstairs, basically. Go downstairs into the fraction. Think about that. Okay. Now let's have a look at the next example, please. It says d to the power of 4 divided by d to the power of 5. In this scenario, we take away the powers. Okay. In multiplication scenarios, we add the powers, but in these scenarios, we take away the power. When we have a power of minus 1, because there's 4 d's on the numerator and 5 d's in the denominator, so we're left with 1 d in the denominator. The answer is d to the power of minus 1 then. That's when we would rewrite it as a fraction again. We do 1 over d to make the power positive. Or we can leave the answer as d to the power of minus 1. I hope this has made sense so far. Now, we can see we've got some practice questions here. What I want you to do is have a look at them. You can pause the video, make your notes here. It's very important for maths videos that we make our notes ourselves. Try and do these practice questions. The answers are right in front of you, so try and write the answers at the same time. Looking at the first example, it says simplify a to the power of minus 4, which means it's reciprocal 1 over a4, a to the power of 4. Done. Next one says simplify 10a to the power of minus 3. Now, this is important. First, we flip it because it's minus 3 and we want to make it a plus 3. So we do 1 over 10a to the power of 3. And then that 10 becomes a cube, a becomes a cube, but they are all the denominators because remember, originally we flipped them. So brackets, just a little reminder, they're not for decoration, they're difference between correct and crying in the exam hall technically. Okay? Hopefully this has made sense. Now we go on to example 4 and example 3 and 4. Example 3 is 3b to the power of minus 2. Here's the sneaky bit. This is important. Only b has the power of negative, not the 3. So we keep the 3 where it is. We flip the b in the denominator with a square. Now example number 4, something like 4 over 3 to the power of minus 2. Flip them upside down, 3 over 4 to the power of 2. And that 2 power belongs to both numerator and denominator because they are both in a bracket. And then we just simply solve them. Okay, I hope this has made sense. We're going on to the general rule of them. Now, fractional indices, they combine roots and powers in one tiny bit of notation. So think of the denominator. I want you to think of the denominator tells us the root, the numerator tells us the power. So the denominator tells us to root something, and the numerator tells us to power something or square something or cube something. If you see cube root with power example, can we see that? I'm hoping that we can see that. So let's have a look at the first example actually. It says 16 with 1/2 of the power. Well, 1 is telling us to power it. Well, there's nothing we can do because the power of 1 is just itself. The 2 in the denominator tells us to square root it. So the answer is 4. Similarly, for the next one, we have a fraction of 2/3. Now the 2 is telling us to square it. The 3 in the denominator is telling us to root it, but we do cube root, 3 root. And always remember the top tip here is to do the root first and then do the squares. Now, or whatever the power is. Now, if we do the root first, cube root 8, which gives us 2, and then we just square it because there's a power of 2, so our answer is 4. So don't panic when you see fractions in indices, it's just very nice and easy, okay? Root first and then power, that's the main bit you want to remember, okay? And that, to be honest, if you just take a peek at this, they're just examples and some summary that I have put together. Again, stop the video, make notes, put in the comments if you have any questions. And that's negative and fractional indices, guys. Honestly, 2 rules, flip it and root it. If this has helped, you'll love the next one because we do exam style questions exactly like the papers. I am Talk GCSE, helping you get those marks without the meltdown. Subscribe for more GCSE Maths explained simply, and I will see you in the next video.